Money Mondays. I am your host and creator, Alexis Milord, real estate professional here in the South Florida area. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. As you can see, today I am all alone by myself, and that is because Loan Officer Carl is a very busy man working on many different projects, and so Money Mondays was unfortunately on his list of things that had to get cut off. But Carl, if you're watching, we wish you all the best, and of course, we'll have you back on the show in the future. So, today is all about entrepreneurship. This is going to be like an entry level conversation on entrepreneurship. So, first, I'd like to just go ahead and share with you all how I myself got into real estate. So, a little bit about myself. I graduated from University of Miami in 2017, and I actually graduated with a psychology degree. So thank God for me, I'm able to use my degree while still being self-employed, but that's not the case for everyone. So back in 2017, when I did graduate, I wasn't sure what it is that I wanted to do. I always knew that I did want to do something with homes. That was my passion, but at the time I didn't know about real estate. So I was working job to job. Finally, I landed an office job, and the environment just wasn't enough for me. Not only was I not being stimulated, I found myself asking for more work. And then when the work piled on, it was like I was doing all of the work and I had all the responsibilities of my own, and I wasn't even, making enough. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and that's not ideal for anyone, right? Like, I have a family, I have dreams and goals and aspirations, I have things that I want to do, I have bills to pay like everybody else, and it just wasn't cutting it. So one day, a family member of mine was like, hey, I just got my real estate license, you can make $25,000 a month, you should definitely do it. And I was like, wow, $25,000 a month, what am I sitting here doing? And that was the biggest lie he could have told me. But I was a go-getter. I got up, I quit my job. 2 weeks later, I was taking the real estate course. A week later, I had passed the test first try and gotten my real estate license. And here we are a year and 2 months later. And it was the best decision that I could have ever made. And for some of those reasons, we'll go ahead and talk through during the discussion. But I just want to put a disclaimer out here. I'm not going to sit here and say that being a entrepreneur, being a 1099 employee, or even working a 9 to 5 and having a second entrepreneurial type job is not for everybody. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It's not for the weak. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the lazy. It's not for those who are going to quit. You do have to put a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of dedication into it. With that being said, though, there is balance. So let's just go ahead and jump right on into it. Make sure you are following me across social media platforms. Follow me on YouTube at Alexis the South Florida Oasis, and Facebook and Instagram you can find me at Oh My Lord. It's up on the screen. Yes, so let's go ahead and get into some of the advantages of owning your own business, working for yourself. First and foremost would be you cannot get fired. And no other place do you have that type of security. Obviously, you can't get fired because it's your own business. Nobody's going to walk up to you one day and tap you the shoulder and give you the pink slip and say, hey, well, we can't afford to pay you anymore. Go home. So that's first and foremost. But with that comes a lot of hard work. You got to make sure that you're getting consistent paychecks, because if you don't put in that work, it's not just going to come to you. Okay, so our second advantage is tax write-offs. You actually can write off a lot more on taxes than you would be able to if you're working just a W-2 job. If you didn't know, you can actually pay your children to perform certain duties within your line of work. That way you'll be able to write them off on your taxes, and of course save a little bit of money, keep a little bit of money home. Definitely. The next one would be freedom of time. Working in an office for me was terrible because I am a person who likes the get up and go lifestyle. I can't just sit one place, and it was killing me having to watch outside from windows and not being able to go outside, get fresh air, or even run my errands on a, make them on time. I couldn't go to the dentist before they closed because I was there at 8:30 and I was out at 5, and that's when everything is open too. So I was just stuck. Everything had to be done on the weekends. And at the time, I was working in the office while still trying to build my real estate business. And even that, I wasn't able to see clients. And for me, if I'm not interacting with people and, really using my creative side, I'm not happy. So that's a big one for me, is freedom of time. Our next one I want to go over is freedom of creativity. So of course, everybody knows when you're working, there are some things that your boss may tell you to do and you're just like, why? That doesn't make any sense. Like, it would make more sense if I was able to do it this way. But of course, it's not your company, so you cannot implement your own ideas. So freedom of time, freedom of creativity is a definitely big one. You get to structure your business the way you would run it. You get to research and look at other people's businesses, take some ideas, change some things, and add it into your own special package. And nobody can come and tell you, hey, no, I don't like this. You need to change this and do it this way. It's all you. And then also, you have total control over your business as well. So a next one that I would say is an advantage of being an entrepreneur would be that you don't have to fight anyone when it comes to salary, when it comes to raises. I know last year my husband was going through this, sorry to put you on blast, but he was going through something where he was constantly asking his job for a raise, and it became like a chase. Like, oh, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Oh, ask me in 2 weeks. Oh, okay, we're on vacation. No, with entrepreneurship, it's all up to you. If you get up and you work that day, you'll get the bag that day, and you don't have to chase and worry about where is my next one coming from. It's all coming from you, and that's the beauty about it. Also, with being an entrepreneur, it doesn't take you as long as you would think to get to the next level. Like I said, everything is coming from you, so you get to set the bar for yourself. So set your own goals. Hey, in 3 months, I would like to have this goal set for my business. And maybe you'll reach that goal in 1 month. And then you get to continue going up the ladder. With a W-2 job only, you won't be able to jump positions as quickly as possible, or as you would like, unless that position is available or whatever the circumstances may be. So I think that's very important too. You get to level up on your own pace, as quickly or as slowly as you like. Okay, so I would like to go ahead and talk a little bit about mindsets that you have to have when being an entrepreneur. So the first one is just knowing exactly what it is that you are offering. So what is your thing? Is it a service? Is it a book? Or is it clothes? What is it? What is your niche? You really have to sit down and figure out what it is and plan. So figure out who is your target audience. So who are you marketing to? What do those people like? How are you going to be able to reach them and get across to them, and in ways that they be able to take your information or take your service and want to use it? Not only want to use it, but want to share it with other people as well. So that would be, how do you connect with your market? Then set, what are your hours, what are your prices, what are your goals, like I mentioned earlier. So time and schedule is a big one when you are a entrepreneur, because like I said, it's all up to you. So yes, you deserve rest. One big thing people think is like you have to work all the time, you have to be on go all the time. No, I believe in a work-life balance. You are only as good to others as you are to yourself. So if I'm overworked and tired, I won't be able to give you my best. So definitely schedule yourself some days off and stick to your schedule, stick to your hours, stick to your plan. As I mentioned before, on one of my previous slides, it's definitely imperative to plan every single detail out and have your plan as you go along, to revise and add things and make sure that you're really sticking to it, so that you can see that if you're making your goals on time. So you can see if you're tracking your goals, is what I want to say. If you see me looking over, I have some notes here so I can deliver this message to you guys on point. The next one will be, what ways will you market? So are you going to do business to business, which means advertising to other business owners? Are you going to use social media, Instagram, Facebook? Are you going to be hosting events, let's say at a bar, or hosting groups for fitness, or whatever the case may have you? The next one you want to do some research on would be, what is your brand looking like? Do you have a mascot? Do you have a motto? Do you have certain colors? Do you have a logo? So this all goes into the planning aspect of it. Then, as I mentioned earlier, you want to research and get some innovative ideas by looking at other people who may be in your line of business, asking yourself, what is this person's niche? What are they offering? What do I like? What can I take from this? What would I change and implement better into my own business? So the next one you want to do is go ahead and get certified. So it's important to research LLCs, different types of businesses. There's LLC, there's S Corp, there's many. So next week I'm actually going to do a more in-depth conversation on how to actually get on SunBiz and do it yourself, because a lot of people end up paying for someone to start up their corporation for them, and you really don't need to. So that will be next week. We'll talk more in depth on different types of businesses and how to actually register your business. Okay, so our last and final thing that I want to make sure I let you guys know about becoming an entrepreneur is, there will be failure and there will be rejection, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to hit your goals. You need to absolutely keep going. Don't stop, no matter what. It's not a race to get there. It's a journey. So it's going to take you a while to get to maybe where you want to be. But the most beautiful thing is to take the lessons and the growth out of your journey and implement those back into your businesses. So once you're able to do that, you can see the growth not only within your business but within yourself as well. So do I have any questions? Hello, thank you for watching. Do I have any questions? I would like to open the floor up to questions before I go ahead and close out this live. So I would like to take this time to let you guys know that I do have some other projects coming out soon. I am a vice president of a nonprofit organization called Carrie's Guardian Angels, and that nonprofit is going to be dedicated to helping homeless women, men, and also to help recovery. So people who are recovering from hospital surgeries, and people also addicts and things like that. I will have more information about that next week as well, when we talk about the LLCs. Okay, so for anybody who's just joining the live, I was talking about becoming an entrepreneur, some advantages of becoming an entrepreneur, which would be freedom of time, freedom of creativity and expression, the fact that you get to write off a lot more on your taxes. Also, that you cannot get fired from your own business. I think that's the biggest takeaway. You don't have to fight for raises. And I also gave some ideas on the background that it would take to open your business, which would be how to plan, what to research, what to have written down, and how to follow through with that. Do we have any questions? So if anybody's watching now, do you guys have a business? If so, what is it that made you start your business? Does anybody on the live here have a business that they would like to tell us about? How did you get started? What made you start that business? Hello. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so if we don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and close out the live. I would like to end the show with a takeaway. The takeaway would just be that running a business is very beneficial to you, especially in this time of job security. There really is no job security in the middle of a pandemic. So right now, everybody is realizing that if they don't put in that work, if they don't have a second, second, third, fourth, fifth avenue of income, they're really not going to be able to even make ends meet in this era. So it's not for the weak, it's not for the faint of heart, it's not for those who are going to quit. This is absolutely something that takes a lot of hard work and dedication, and it takes you to be willing to stick through it no matter how many times you may fail. So JP says that he would like to invest in auction. Okay, wonderful. Okay, but I don't know the first step. So you would like to invest in auction, but you don't know the first step. So the first step would definitely be to get an auction license. You would have to, I'm not very versed in the auctions, so you would have to research how to go ahead and get into the auction license. However, I do know that you actually don't need a license to sell cars. You can, in fact, sell 3 cars on your own without a penalty for the year. However, if you'd like to, because I know that the auction licenses are pretty expensive, so if you would like to do it without the license, what you can do is leave the title of your vehicles open so that you're able to sell more without the penalty. But that way you are responsible, because you will be 1099, so you will have to pay your own taxes. So you would need to get an accountant on that. So the first step would be basically to invest either in the auction license or invest in the car. And for you, I would say start advertising using social media on Facebook Marketplace and places like that. All right. So takeaways, like I was saying before, is that it's beneficial. And this time, I think everybody knows that you need to have more than one stream of income to survive and make ends meet. So becoming an entrepreneur is one of the best ways to get your feet wet. Now, that's not the only way. There are investments, which we've talked about before and we will talk about again in the future. But it is a great way. And you can open the avenues not only for yourself but for your children, for your family. We need to start as a community building wealth, building generational wealth, and we can't wait till we're 50 and 60 to start thinking about leaving things behind for our children and grandchildren. So while we're 20, while we're 25, while we're 30, while we're 45, we need to already be making those progress, along the way. Okay. So next week on Monday, we will be talking about the different types of corporations and how to register your business on Sunbiz. If you're in Florida, how to register your business. Okay, that has been all for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. Remember that health is wealth, and also education is the key to everything. All right, guys, see you on Monday.